very honored to be here today, and I think it's also very meaningful that I'm moderating this conversation today because Lepak Conversations, essentially we started off by advocating for the tudung issue in 2020. So Lepak Conversations is an online youth platform that advocates for others in Singapore. And so we started off with the tudung issue. So what is the tudung issue? We came out with a timeline of events. We started as early as 2002 when 4 primary 1 students, they went to public school and they wore the tudung. And they were told that if you continue wearing the tudung to school, you will be suspended essentially. So this issue has gone on for 2 decades, and the most recent development is that in 2021, finally the government actually allowed Muslim healthcare workers to wear the hijab at work. So I would like to think that was a result of our advocacy, alhamdulillah. So yeah, maybe without further ado, I'll just jump straight into the conversation with these ladies. So today we're not here to politicize the issue, we're not here to get political. I think as Hidayah mentioned earlier, what we realize is that there is a very clear lack of voices from Muslim women themselves who wear the hijab. So I think I'm curious to know, for all of you, when did your journey with the hijab start? And I think this question, it sounds simple, but I think there are a lot of misconceptions around why women wear the hijab. Right, a lot of times when our non-Muslim friends ask us, it's like, are you forced to wear the hijab? Do you only wear the hijab when you get married? There are a lot of misconceptions, and I think in our conversations, I realized that the reason why we wear the hijab is actually very, very personal. So if you are open to share, please let us know why you started wearing the hijab.
Okay. Hi, I'm Fauziah. Basically, the first time that I wore the hijab was in 1995. I went for Umrah, and after I came back, I actually wanted to wear it, but my mom was like, when you go to school, you can't wear, then after that you come back, you wear. So I was thinking about it, whether it was wise for me to wear. So in 1998, then I was in Anglo-Chinese Junior College. Then I actually saw some Fauziah students, some other students who went for the Fauziah meeting, Fellowship of Muslim Students Association by NTU. Then I saw, hey, the other girls go wear. I was like, why can't I? You know? So even if it meant that I went to school without wearing the hijab, although I was in uniform, I was like, just wear it. Yeah. So that was the start of me wearing the hijab. Yeah.
Hi everyone, from Malaysia, so I don't have those restrictions. But for me, it was not forced either. My mom asked me whether I would like to wear when I was around the same year, 1997, 98. I was 13 or 14 more or less. Because my younger sisters started wearing already. But I said, not yet, Mama, not yet. So I decided to try it out on my own first. But unlike friends or schoolmates back then, that some, not all, wore to school but did not wear outside. This is a different case altogether, yeah? So I didn't want that. I didn't want that at all. So I went the other way around, wore outside, didn't wear to school. So when school somehow made it some sort of a campaign, like during Ramadan when I was 15, to wear hijab for the Muslim girls. So I did, and I think that's how I started that.
Hi, so I'm Ruby. Thanks for sharing. I always know it's the right thing to do, right? But it's something meant to do when you are spiritually ready. I was 25, a bit later than they were when they started wearing hijab. It was 2002. I remember the case of that 4 girls was just a year before. I was very affected. I was in the entertainment industry as well at that time. I didn't know lah. So short hair. Don't watch the shows I was acting in before. All haram. You can see aurat one. So it was really the other spectrum, whereby beauty and showcasing it was all about, my career. And then here I was thinking about hijab. That's totally, not in line with what I was doing at that time. But I was also somewhat, maybe, what we Muslims say, dapat hidayah. terpanggil untuk pergi belajar agama. I went to learn the ropes of being a Muslim. I didn't pray. I didn't know how to pray. My grandmother was going, kau tu tak sembahyang, tak nak sembahyang, pemalas, whatever. I'm like, tak tahu sembahyang, macam mana nak sembahyang? Simple as that, kan? So I went to Darul Arqam because I made a deal with my auntie. I said, okay, I want to come and stay in Singapore. I was already living in Malaysia at that time. Long story. So she said, if you want to come back, you have to go to learn religion. So I said, okay, I go. So she sent me to Darul Arqam and I actually liked it. I became a befriender. What I liked about Darul Arqam was its open nature. You can go without hijab, you can go with see-through shirt, but after that they will throw you a pashmina, like, cover. Be respectful. At that time I don't know all this, how to be respectful. Even in my Muslim community, being a Malay, I don't even know how to be respectful among my Muslim community. So that was the start of my love for Islam actually. I found God first. And then when I found God, I found love of God, mercy of God. And that's when I was thinking about hijab. And it finally happened when I was 25. And how I wore it for the first time is in the book. You all have to read it.
Great answer. So as you can see, everyone's story with the hijab started very differently. And I think what stood out to me is, for Nadia, you mentioned that in Malaysia you are forced, like it's compulsory for you to wear. So people wear it in school and take it off after. But in Singapore, you cannot wear it in school, but you wear it after. So I think we're very glad to have a different perspective. And maybe for Ruby, you mentioned, I guess, societal expectations. What does it mean when you put on the hijab? If you put on the hijab, does it mean you're suddenly a good Muslim? So I think that's what I want to move on to next. It's really the perceptions of being someone who wears the hijab, right? So what does wearing the hijab mean? And does it mean that you are a good Muslim when you start wearing the hijab?
I think being a good Muslim is not just by wearing a hijab. So basically, wearing a hijab, people say it moves on a transition, from not wearing the hijab to wearing the hijab. But all in all, I think not wearing the hijab doesn't mean that you are not a good Muslim. Yeah. So to me, being a Muslim is more than just wearing hijab. It's also about your ethics, your adab, and what as a Muslimah, I think yes, I think it is as I said, it is a compulsion, but it's not an obsession. I mean, it's not an oppression. Sorry. Yeah. So that's what wearing a hijab to me is about.
I think for Nadia, I'm curious because we had a conversation before this. I mean, I say perceptions, but I mean there are a lot of misconceptions out there. So things like, if you wear the tudung a certain way, you wear it long, you wear it short, you wear a turban, and the way you dress, your clothes loose and all that. Did you grapple with that as someone who wears a tudung?
I teach English for a living. And I go to the university like this. Generally, in Malaysia, not all of course, the Malay language teachers dress like this. No offense to them, it's just that they look at me, you can speak English? That kind of thing. And that's one of the things. And recently, about a month ago, a student came to me, I thought you teach Malay. I can teach Malay, but I teach English, And I think I spoke to my best friend last night over dinner that it's not a portrayal of your level of faith. Wear it or not wear it, there's no way. Panjang labuh, back in helicopter, no helicopter, we've got labels for all. But no. And more often than not, both of us actually go to places that we look a little too halal for the haram setting, and to, I always get it wrong, right? I got it wrong the last time. Too haram for the halal, too outspoken, cannot shut up kind of thing, It goes the same way for the dating scene as well. Speaking English and you want to meet someone who speaks the language and whatnot, and then you see, in the case of Malaysia, okay? So I'm from Penang, up north, Pulau Pinang, not KL, yeah? So I think you get what I'm trying to say. So I dress very conservatively. I wear the baju kurung everywhere. Ask her, she's been to everywhere with me. There will always be one picture of my baju kurung, but today it's not cotton batik. She wonders why, but I just want to wear my polka dot today, that's all.
Any specific question, no? So yeah, about the perceptions of hijab. Obviously, when one dons it, right, you are at the height of your so-called blessed self. you feel very heightened in that self-awareness of wanting to be a good Muslim. So yes, the tudung panjang sikit, baju lambung sikit, semua lah, trying to be the better version of yourself, right? But 20 years on, I realized that that's not the journey that will stay on with me. Although I want to achieve that level of iman all the time, I am just human. I cannot, I do face difficulties, I do face my own obstacles, and this also affect how I dress or how I behave as a hijabi. I'm not apologizing, for the hijab. I'm apologizing for my own deeds lah, kan. So yeah, as you would have known, stereotypes being always people think that we are ultra religious. You do your prayers all the time on time. Sometimes we miss prayers. God, I admit it. I do. Because of lame excuses. We are not perfect. We are always trying to be perfect. And I think the word that we don't want to abuse here is jihad, which means struggle. Because being a Muslim is a struggle. Being a good person is a struggle. Being kind to everyone is a struggle. So it's not defining. It's not I'm wearing hijab. That's it. I'm less. I'm better. Holy than thou. Definitely not. Still a long way for all of us. I think there's no end to the struggle that we are going to face and will be facing.
Yeah, I think what Nadia said, too haram for the halal, too halal for the haram, something that I relate to also. And I think, yeah, just across the board, what I'm getting is this perception that there is this perception as a Muslim woman, right? And like when you wear the tudung, people give comments like, "Wah, aku pakai tudung malah tak solat."
Exactly.
So why wear the tudung if you don't pray? So
What is halal then?
Yeah. But then at first,
Right.
if you don't wear the tudung, then people will also comment. So like, in general, women, I guess are always criticized for what we wear, for how we act. And I think for the three of you have contributed your stories to the book. So I think now we'll delve a bit more into that. And I'm curious to know if you had a defining moment in relation to the hijab.
I think being in Malaysia, privileged that you can wear it at any time you want, however you want it. 10 years ago, my first trip to Europe with my best friend Heidi was when I had to decide, I have to wear something else, not my tudung bawah that sometimes cause my bad tudung day. The bad tudung day is going to happen sometime later. So we had to opt for, it was not her first time, it was my first time. So I had to opt for a bonnet. So that was the first time that I had to make that decision. I think it was difficult. We had, I think, some sort of Islamophobia happening at that time. Can't remember what exactly it was, but I was attending a conference in Paris. So yeah, that was it for me.
How did that affect you?
It actually gave me that perception that it's not easy actually around the world. Some people in some places in the world where probably the Muslims are not the majority, even that they have to choose not to wear, and it's okay. We're not being told that it's okay not to wear. My mom, I think we've had these conversations like a few years ago, that in cases of Darurat, yes, you can take it off. And we never knew that. Nobody has ever said that to us. Yes, you can. In places that causes you threat and you're at risk, you can. But do your best to cover up. That's what I feel that, like I said earlier, like being privileged all along, and you can choose, you can wear it to school. And in fact, I just shared a story earlier that I forgot about that story actually. Uniform bodies in school, like the Red Crescent and whatnot, she was one of the first few who opted to wear the hijab. So there were changes that had to be made to the uniform, longer sleeves and whatnot. So yeah, that's it for me.
Right, I think that privilege is something that a lot of us don't realize, because we come from countries where it's okay, or it's encouraged for us to wear the tudung. So thank you for sharing that perspective. Fauziah, or maybe if you want to share your experience.
Touching on Islamophobia, I was living in Germany from 2003 for about 4.5 years, 5 years. I have also myself experienced those Islamophobia effect. Some of the things that we noticed, first of all, was just to rent a place. Rent a house, they will ask you, where are you from? right? If you're Arab Muslims, Turkish Muslims, forget it. They will not want to rent out to you because you are from the lower class, uneducated, you are unhygienic. So these are all the stereotypes, as we were mentioning about stereotypes. And these are things that you face also being a Muslim when you are abroad. But the defining moment for me, I guess, was not about me. Actually, when I became a mother to my teenage daughter, she's hijab donning since she was young. So now she has, we came back to Singapore from Dubai. We were from the Saudi, we were from Dubai for several years, more than about 15, I would say about 12 to 13 years we were in Middle East. So when we came back, it was natural for her to wear the hijab, but she never questioned it, she never asked to take it off. Yeah, she was comfortable with it because she grew up in an environment, right? I didn't, I was not wearing it at her age. So when she came back here, I need to put her to school, and I realized I cannot put her anywhere. No national schools will accept her with the hijab, and to ask her to take it off was just not a question. It never came up, right? The topic never came up. So like, how do we solve this issue, right? Madrasas, there were only a few madrasas here, and they wouldn't accept her. None of them would accept her. At secondary 3, there was one who actually recommended for her to go back to secondary 1. I'm like, no, why should I put her through that? At least let her go to secondary 3 and see if she can do it or not, right? So I have to argue with a lot of people until the point where I actually have to send her to Malaysia. I went to KL to check out IIUM, the secondary school, kan? So there's an international secondary school. I went to check out the secondary school, I went for the orientation, she took the test, went to the hostel, and then I'm like, okay, she cannot live in this sardine room with really just bed and walls and a few study tables. I'm like, this is like, you know, I cannot leave my 15-year-old girl here after taking care of her, you know, she's under my nose for so many years, right? I did not have that, you know, I don't have the strength to let her go. She was mentally preparing herself lah. But I was also worried like this place was quite far, Gombak or something. Then like, I don't know how she's gonna get around. There was just too many questions, too many worries. I decided, no, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna pull my networks, pull my strings, and get her into a school somewhere somehow. I did lah. I did. Finally, I got through to a secondary school here, Madrasah Arabia Islamia, which is more secular Islamic school, but still secular. What do you call that, curriculum? But with the they had what do you call that? They told us like if she doesn't make it in the first semester, she's out. That's how hard it was for her just to wear a hijab. Come on. And this is not. And then I realized that the problem did not stop there. It's not about putting her in secondary school with hijab on. Now we are from overseas, right? After secondary school, say she wants to go to JC, she wants to do her A-levels. Where does she go? There's not much options for us Muslim girls to do A-levels. I didn't go to A-levels, I don't care. But now my daughter wishes to. How? Right? That's not fair. Right? There are options in madrasas to do A-levels, but the subjects won't be enough to go to the science programs, to be a medical doctor, to be, I don't know what courses you need to go where you need to be at NUS, right? Whatever it takes. But yeah, this is the thing that we struggle with. This is the truth that we're struggling with. So everybody said, never mind lah. One MP told me, related, cannot say who lah. He said, never mind lah, just put her in poly also can go. Yes, I've seen an example of someone who went through poly, Republic Poly for that fact, and went on to become a medical doctor. But if I have a choice to do it in 2 years, why can't I have that choice?
Yes.
I want that choice.
I think it's very clear that, you know, although it shouldn't be the case, I feel like putting on the hijab comes with a lot of heavy choices, heavy decisions that we have to make after how that affects our daily lives, and even our ambition. So I think Fauziah, you maybe have more to speak about that.
Basically for me, as a student, I actually wanted to be a police officer. Unfortunately, there's no way that I could be one. So of course, by wearing the hijab, so I diverted, and then after that, I became an APO, auxiliary police officer instead. Of course, I had to take off my hijab also, and I wasn't wearing as I was working there. I don't know lah. After that, I also tried selling floor. Also can wear hijab. So I tried to push my luck, you know, with one of the department stores. Then I said, but I saw that they were wearing 3/4 or even long sleeves. But the person said, no, you know, you can't wear the hijab. So I was like, okay. So I worked in another department store which also didn't allow wearing a hijab. About 3 months after that was my defining moment, I would say. You know, I was like, okay, I have a choice to go on to office job. Why not? Just because it allows me to wear the hijab, I moved on. You know, I said, I think wearing the hijab is more important. So then choosing what I wanted to do to be a prisoner. I've tried it. I've tried APO. I've tried selling floor. So I think, yeah, I just want to wear the hijab. That's the defining moment for me. Yeah.
Right. So I'm just curious because that dream to be a police officer, it seems like quite a big dream. So I was wondering if you felt like maybe choosing a different path for the sake of being able to wear a hijab. Do you feel like it was a sacrifice that you had to give up the hijab?
I think it was a sacrifice that I had to make lah. I mean, because there's no way that I could put on the hijab there. I mean, I'm glad that the healthcare sector now allows to wear hijab, but not the police force. So I think as I grow older, I have children. You know, I saw how my older daughter was like, oh, I want to wear hijab to see how you all feel and that kind of thing. So I was like, my perceptions changed. It was a sacrifice, but I think the sacrifice to be a role model to my daughters are more important.
That's a beautiful answer. So would you like to say yeah, so I mean, it sounds like the journey of wearing a hijab is not an easy one, but the three of you here commit to it. So, and I think hearing your stories, it's quite clear that our relationships with the hijab, it changes over time. So I'm curious to know, like today, what significance does the hijab have mean to you? What does it mean to you?
Today, I think it's become a part of me. Many people say that, oh, it's not the hijab. Sorry, your identity is not just the hijab and whatnot. But you know, when you wear it, it becomes a fitrah. Actually, fitrah covering up is fitrah. So the moment you step out of the house, no matter what you have, a towel or anything else, you put it on. Now, even with video calls, you know, you put it on, right? And especially for me, is when my family extended, you know, you have a brother-in-law and whatnot, that means that is more significant for me. So I think the thought that, what do you call that, the moment I step out of the house, you know, and it's also a reminder of who I am, who I've chosen to be, and the commitment I've made to God. It's between me and Him. It's not with anybody else. No matter how short my tudung is, bad tudung day, or strands of hair coming out here and there, saying it here, saying it there. I mean, I don't know, it's fitrah. To me, it's fitrah. It becomes natural. It's not a defining thing that I'm better or whatnot, but it's natural for me.
For me, the significance of hijab, it's a reminder that I'm a Muslim first and foremost, before anything. Before I'm even a Malay, so I refuse to wear a Malay dress today to just prove that I'm a global Muslim first of all. I put my interest of my Muslim sisters first, not my Malay sisters, Muslim first. Yeah, because even in Singapore, we always forget the minority Muslims, the Chinese reverts, the Indians, the minorities, you know, from different sections of the Islamic community. We like to discriminate even amongst ourselves. We continue to do that. Please do not do that. Yeah, I mean like, dia jadi macam tuan penasihat, you know. So basically, yeah, that's how I feel about hijab lah. It should be the unifying factor, not the division, you know, not the dividing us further. Hopefully not. And we are the ones who are different. So do not expect other people to understand us all the time, especially in a country where we are not a Muslim country, in Singapore. I just came back from overseas, so I can tell, you know, that I know a lot of Malays are frustrated. Why no prayer rooms here? Why no prayer rooms there? I'm like, you're not in a Muslim country. Be understanding, be tolerant, right? All you need is a clean corner. Do not bang your head, bang your feet, ask for a lot of things. Like if you show tolerance, if you show patience to other people will also show that, you know, respect to you. And eventually we will get what we want. I mean, I see some malls, right? There are no prayer rooms, but I see Muslims coming together and they put up a corner, they put up their own sajadah, you know, and then suddenly it become a room. One corner somewhere, and then some halal website will say, oh, you can find prayer room here. At the car park, level 5, the left, the right, you're fine. You see, I love that. No need prayer room. That community working together is so much more beautiful than a mall preparing you a prayer room, I tell you. It's just more heartwarming, I feel. Yeah.
Okay, Okay, for me, talking about prayer room when I was back in college, that I had a small little room where the cleaner was asking, where's the prayer room? No, like I didn't know where to pray. So it was just a small room where the tangga was, and it was just right on top of my head, the roof. So I was like, I think the significance of wearing the hijab is like to be grateful that we have a small space to even to pray. Yeah. So yeah, and it doesn't matter whether I'm wearing a tudung sarung or whatever it is. Like sometimes someday I just feel like this sarung the tudung, like to work even. So I think it doesn't matter what actually we wear. Yeah.
Maybe answers from all three of you. I think what stood out to me and what Ruby said, like we should be tolerant and like the community will find ways and. If I remember correctly, it's in the Quran. Like Islam is an easy religion, right? The earth is for you to pray. You can pray anywhere you want. This is a small corner you can pray. I think, despite all the challenges, like our religion actually makes it really easy for us to practice Islam. And I guess I want to wrap it up with like a final question before we move on to Q&A. I think there might be some burning questions out there. If there's anything that you want people to understand about the hijab today, what is that one thing?
I think for me it's about moderation. Nothing more, nothing less. Just middle ground. You're trying, and I think I think what Ruby said, we don't expect others just because others are so unkind to us and whatnot in certain parts of the world doesn't mean that we have to return the favor. In fact, show them what it's all about actually. It's not a limiting choice or individual choice whereby you cannot be ambitious and whatnot. You can be anything you want to be. Okay, and I think it all goes back to me. It's a reminder that being moderate in anything that I do, anything that I say.
Well, for me, I'm still struggling, and but my faith has not wavered. I'm strengthened in my belief as a Muslim. I believe in God. I believe in His teachings. My ibadah may be questionable, but like I said, it's a struggle. I'm always struggling. I invite sisters yang waiting to hidayah. Can I use? Waiting for hidayah to wear the hijab. There's no such thing as hidayah. If you are ready, you just jump into it. I mean, not even ready lah. If you want to try, just try for a day. Don't have to wait for someone to judge you. Like, what are you wearing today? Tomorrow not wearing. If you want to wear it, just wear it. You want to feel how it's like wearing it? Wear it. If you want to feel how it's like being discriminated, wear it. You want to see how employers reject you? Wear it and go to an interview. Right? Don't just guess how you feel. Go and wear it and then feel how you feel. Yeah. So we go through a lot of all those emotions as a Muslim, especially in the Singaporean context, kan? But we shall not waver lah. I mean, we are good Muslims. Good Muslims should be tolerant, should be patient. Like I said, we are very we like community work. I mean, these are the things that essentially Islam is teaching us, right? All these good qualities of being a Muslim. It's not just prayers. It's not just puasa. It's not just going to Hajj. It's the little things that Allah teaches you, the love, the gratitude, the mercy, the being kind to one another. I mean, these are the actually qualities of Islam that I actually fall in love with. Right? It's not that I want to pray 5 times a day, God make me Muslim. No, I want to be kind to other Muslims. I want to show compassion, and especially in these tough times we are facing right now. All of you know what's going on in the world right now, right? We feel for the fellow Muslims abroad, but we feel for everybody who's going through pain. Yeah, if Vietnam has a earthquake, we also should feel. We shouldn't be discriminatory even with that kind of feelings. Kan? Itu je lah.
I think to add on to what we said, Islam is a way of life. That's what she's trying to say. It's a way of life. It's every little things that we do.
Yeah, I think everybody is trying to be a better version of themselves today than yesterday. So, I think that's all I want to say.
Thank you so much.
The floor of us lah. We're very emotional already.
So I think just to wrap up this conversation, I think the main takeaway is really moderation, right? We see how where the hijab is practiced differently in different countries and how people react differently to it also. So the point is to just give Muslim women the choice whether they want to wear it or not. It's their choice, and also just to normalize wearing the hijab. Like it's a choice that we make. It shouldn't make you afraid of us. It shouldn't affect our life choices. Shouldn't affect our daughters' life choices. It's a choice that we make. But at the same time, I think also being Muslim, Islam teaches us to struggle, right? That's part of worship. Worship, like you say, it's not just praying 5 times a day. It's not just wearing the hijab. It's going through all these hurdles in life and learning from it. So I am very heartened by this conversation, and I hope you all have been as well. Please give them